Welcome to Take 10 on Tuesdays with the Tennessee Tribune. My name is Sandra Longweaver. I'm the editorial director for the newspaper. And our guest today is LaKendra Butler, who is starting a charter school here in Nashville. And she is recruiting rising fifth graders to come to the school. So we wanted to find out a little bit more about the Striving Academy is the name of it. Is that right, LaKendra?
Strive Collegiate Academy.
Okay, all right.
Which is long.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So tell us, I'd like to get a little bit about your background. I understand that you were a principal at a charter school in Dallas?
Yes.
Okay, and was that also a middle school? Or?
It was. I started with high school. I started teaching through Teach for America.
Oh.
And so I taught high school in Atlanta. And so taught high school in Atlanta for a couple of years and then was offered a job to teach in Dallas at a KIPP charter school. So it was KIPP Truth in Dallas. With that school, I was an assistant. I was a teacher, then became the first assistant principal of that school, and was an assistant principal for a couple of years, and then I became the principal of that school. Okay. And I also worked for the KIPP region in Dallas. So I was there for 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what made you decide to start a charter school and start it here in Nashville?
Awesome. So just thinking about just my own educational philosophy in terms of why I do education altogether.
Which is what? Tell us. Okay.
Great. It goes back to I had choices when I was going to school. So I went to a magnet school, which wasn't in my neighborhood. And my neighborhood schools weren't the best schools. And so my mom made a choice to provide me with an option outside of our neighborhood. And so just knowing that I had that choice, it's important for me, for families to also have an additional choice if they want their child to go to the neighborhood school, or if they want their child to go to a different school, like them giving them that power and giving them that choice. And so my philosophy is like, how do we make sure that we give families choices in their child's educational journey, regardless of like where the child come from or where the child is. The parents have that power to make that choice. And so because of that, just going to Atlanta, being in school in Austin and in Dallas, just seeing the inequity in education was frustrating. And so also seeing that my cousins and some of my friends who live near me are not on the same trajectory as me. And I can't say it's because they went to our home school, but I can say like, obviously the education, there was a breakdown somewhere, and we live right next door to each other.
Wow.
And
now,
so
where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Dallas.
In Dallas.
So I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and so single parent home, and my mom worked 2 jobs so that she could make sure that we had or were afforded the opportunities to get a great education. First, wanted to go to college in my family, but wanted to make sure that that's not the case. Like, why is that the case? And so how can I make sure that I'm making an impact in student lives to give them the energy and the passion to also make a difference in someone else's life?
Oh, great. Okay. So what led you to come to Nashville?
Yes.
How did you select Nashville?
So
from Dallas.
Yeah. So working in Dallas, I made the decision that I wanted to start a new school eventually, right?
Okay.
Like not just like tomorrow, but eventually. And so I wanted to go to grad school and really like just learn more and see the world outside of KIPP. So KIPP was doing some really great things. I also wanted to see some other things that was going on in the ed reform world and in education. And so with that, started to look in just different places to see like what was going on and how I could learn more. And so connected with the Tennessee Charter School Center, who serves charter schools across the state of Tennessee.
Right. And
so when connecting with them, was offered the position to either serve in Nashville or Memphis. And so decided on Nashville. My fiance at the time, now my husband, we had already decided that we were going to leave Dallas. I felt that I did some great work in Dallas, and it was back, where I was from. And so wanted to just impact somewhere else. And so Nashville was on the list of places that we wanted to go to. And so came here, just saw the work that was happening here, saw the energy around education in Tennessee as a whole. They were one of the states that had the Race to the Top grant, and they were just doing some really great work, and you could hear it from Texas. And so I was excited about the conversations that were happening about education, and so decided on Tennessee for that reason, because I know that conversations were happening around education, and I was excited to be a part of just a great movement to make sure that kids are getting equal access to quality education.
Okay. Well, it sounds like this is a good thing for Nashville. Now, you'll be in Davidson County.
Yes, ma'am.
But you're drawing from which neighborhoods in
So the
Davidson
McGavock
County?
Cluster.
Okay.
So we'll be the first charter school serving the McGavock Cluster specifically. There are students who live in that cluster that go to charter schools more into Nashville. So the McGavock Cluster serves Napier, Old Hickory, Donaldson, and Hermitage. So it's a fairly wide area that they serve, but all of those students traditionally go to McGavock High School.
Okay.
So we'll be another middle school option to that area.
And how many students are you looking to recruit?
So we'll start with 120 fifth graders only.
Okay.
And so when those fifth graders become sixth graders, we'll take in more fifth graders. But for the first year, we'll start with 120 fifth graders.
And where are you based? Where will the school
So we'll
be
be off
located?
of Donaldson Pike, which we'll be off of Lebanon Road and Donaldson Pike. So it's where it crosses, which is near the Donaldson Hermitage YMCA.
Okay.
Luckily, we just signed the lease officially yesterday. So
congratulations.
Excited about that. But we'll be in
yesterday is April 9th.
Yes,
that
yes.
was signed.
Yes, April the 9th. And so we are in the Donaldson Corporate Center, which is where the old Donaldson Hospital used to be. And so we'll be on the third floor of that space for the first 2 years.
Okay.
And we'll find a longer term space still in that cluster.
Okay. And you intend to grow 5 through 8?
Yes, ma'am.
And hold it to middle school?
Yes.
How did you settle on middle school? Middle school can be very challenging
yes,
as they grow from sort of that into that tween age back to teenagers. So how did you get there?
So middle school is my passion. I feel like that's where I started to challenge myself as an individual. I went to a fairly diverse school in Dallas, and it was across town, and it was just a hodgepodge of people, but we also were at the age where we started to challenge the norm and challenge the status quo. And so as I started working and volunteering when I was in college, I did some work in high school and middle school, and I felt like, man, I understand why they're challenging, because I did this myself. So got really excited about that. And then when I taught high school, was able to see like that other end. But then when I got to back to Dallas and was teaching middle school, it was really just exciting, because they are still, honestly, they still like you at 10, but it's when they turn 12 they're
right.
like,
You
I'm
can
not
see
quite
the
sure.
difference.
Yes, I'm not quite sure who you are. But you're able to really help them, and that's when they really decide who they are as individuals, and you're a part of that. And then I still get to see them in my purview when they're in high school. So I get to really see that growth still in high school before they go off to college.
Right.
So I still can touch a little bit and still make a difference, but I know that like I helped them decide what type of person they wanted to be, but also if they like school. Like that's when they start to decide that. So just being a part of that middle school age allows me to say like school is really important. You're gonna like school because we're gonna make sure that you enjoy what this is, regardless of where you come, regardless of what level you're in, regardless of what grade you're in. We're gonna make sure that you enjoy what you're doing, because we're gonna find out what works for you. And that's at the age when students start to learn what works for them.
Okay. Now, have you also started to recruit teachers?
Yes.
At this point,
yes.
You are.
We have. We'll start with 5 core teachers.
Okay.
I've hired officially 3 of the 5.
Great.
Monday I'll decide on the 4th.
Okay.
So that's where we are with that.
Okay. So should too late for applications if you're interested in teaching at this point?
No, it's never too late for applications. Because right now I've decided on 3, but they could obviously also decide to do something different. But it's always open. So those are for core. I have 2 other positions, a special education position and a physical education position that I haven't even technically recruited for. So I have about 3 or 4 other positions that are still available.
Okay. Now, besides the academic load, which everyone expects, is there anything additional? Is there a music curriculum? I heard you mention physical education. What else can
So-
parents look for?
Strive, our pillars are literacy, leadership, and personalized learning. So those are our pillars of our school. And so the literacy is the academic part. What are those reading, writing, and speaking skills we can make sure are incorporated across the school every single day?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we help students become public speakers and speak intellectually about their academics, about their passions, about what they enjoy? And then the leadership end is more of the cultural end. It's more of how do we make them one great people, but also how do we make them push what they believe in. So, for example, self-advocacy. So, how do they self-advocate for themselves? What are some organizational skills? How do they organize themselves? How do they organize their things? And then, in addition to that, is organization, self-advocacy, and then just study norms. So study skills, how do I create study groups? So that's the leadership end. How do we give them the personal leadership skills to drive their own education? How do we have self-driven students where they're driving their education? But a part of that, in order to teach them how to manage their time and organize their things, we have to give them other things outside of the academic day. So we have the literacy block, but we also have an enrichment block, where during that block of time they will experience, whether it be art, whether it be music, whether it be dance, whether it be chess, whether it be debate. And so it's providing a block of time so that they can experience these electives that are not your traditional, you only have art and music, because financially, like, I can't hire an art teacher yet because I only have one, but I can partner with organizations that bring in those resources so that for 6 weeks a group of students do dance because a dance company has come in and provided that, or the next 6 weeks they do theater. So it's providing them still with the exposure to these arts and music opportunities so that they can still be exposed to that. In addition to, there's a physical education block that they also engage in every single day to make sure that they're also like fitness related and like working and building themselves up as healthy individuals.
Great. Now, so if you're the parent of a rising fifth grader give me the geographic areas again.
So Donaldson, Hermitage, Napier, Old Hickory.
Okay, and so how do you apply?
Yes, so you can go online and you can apply. You can go to strivecollegiate.org and apply online. You can click a button that says apply online. You can also go to mmps.org and click apply and choose Strive as an option. And you can call the school and we can send you your application, or we can deliver your application as well.
Okay, and your phone number is?
Yes. Our phone number is 615-208-5039. And our website, once again, is strivecollegiate.org.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, LaKendra.
Thank you.
Very appreciate it. Good luck with the school. It sounds like it's going to be a great opportunity. Our guest today has been LaKendra Butler, who is starting a charter school here in Nashville. So check it out on her website. Thank you.
Thank you.